Hello, my name is Beansprout, and this video is going to kind of be a remaster of my History of Doom video, except it's also a review, and there's a lot more content in this video. And I know what you're thinking, why is this not Doom 3 The Lost Levels? Well, I want to break up the content, so I'm going to be making a classic Doom video. I will make that video, but after this video comes out. And I do want to first tell you that I played the entire run on the Ultimate Doom, so I also have the 4th episode, but that's going to get its own episode because I don't really like that episode. And I am also playing on the Hurt Me Plenty difficulty because I suck at Classic Doom. I considered playing on Ultra Violence because it's the gentleman's way to play Doom, but I don't want to. So first I want to cover a little bit of history about Doom. And it's no secret that Doom is possibly one of the world's most important video games in history. And while not technically being the first FPS game, that was Wolfenstein, it's still considered to be really what was the start of the genre. Which shows because the game was installed on more computers than Windows. It's estimated that it was installed on over 10 million computers. But going to the subject of development for this game, it's important to note the original version of the game is completely different to how it is now. The game started development in 1992 and was originally going to be an open world co-op game with a range of characters. And this seems to be the case with a lot of id games, where they'll have a completely different concept to what they actually make. In the end, thank God they scrapped those old ideas for Doom, because if they stuck with their guns and continued doing that, then I probably would not be making Doom content right now, and the game probably wouldn't be nearly as fun as it is. Oh, and another thing, the name Doom, do you know where they got that from? Well, I'd assume you do if you like Doom, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. It came from the 1987 Tom Cruise movie, The Color of Money.
What you got in there? In here? Doom.
And following the trend of taking inspiration from other things, the game's music took inspiration from bands like Metallica, Judas Priest, Nine Inch Nails, Pantera, and other 90s metal bands. Like, even with the game's most famous song, E1M1 or At Doomsday, it took inspiration from Metallica's song, which I don't know the name of and I'm not going to look up because this video is already going to take long enough to edit. But when the game came out, not everyone was very happy about it, with parents and news organisations blaming the game for many violent events. One of note was the Columbine school shooting, and their reasoning behind this is that one of the shooters, known as Eric Harris, had his very own website known as American Online, where he would host levels for games like Doom, Doom 2, and Quake. But the question still remained. Could video games train people to kill? Well, in 1996, a mod was made to help US Marines train their reaction time and work together, because they thought if flight sims could teach people how to fly, then why can't video games teach people how to kill? But going back to Doom's development, when id made their new engine, id Tech 1, it was revolutionary, giving the devs the ability to make more complex and advanced levels, with them being able to make multiple floors, walls that can face any direction, and complex lighting. Okay, so now that I'm done with that little brief history of Doom, we're going to talk about the enemies, because it's pretty interesting how they work. Every enemy in Doom telegraphs their attacks, so this means that when the enemy tries to attack you, it gives you a warning, and the biggest examples of this are the Pinky and the Imp. Like, with the Pinky, when he opens his mouth, just move backwards a bit and shoot him. That'll negate any of the damage that he would have done otherwise. But oh boy, my least favorite enemy in the game does not follow these rules. This piece of literal garbage is a hit scan enemy. And he does so much damage, which is like 30 damage. And it may not seem like a lot, but when there's a whole group of them with other enemies, fighting these guys is absolute hell, no pun intended. Oh, and the double baron fight at the end of Knee Deep in the Dead's really fun. Okay, so now gibing. Or maybe I'm going to explain what gibing is. So, gibing is when you do a little bit too much damage to an enemy, and they explode into a billion pieces. And this is mostly seen in games like Quake or Unreal, but it's also in Doom, and you can achieve it by either using a rocket launcher or the explosive barrels. You could potentially gib an enemy by using any of the other weapons, it's just extremely uncommon. But one thing me and a lot of people have found with this game is that the further you get into the game, the worse it gets. Like, surely it would get better, but no. I feel that Inferno and Knee Deep in the Dead are way better than the other two chapters in this game. And I'm not even going to talk about why Thy Flesh Consumed is that trash. It can get its own video for that. I feel like the devs just were getting lazy by the end of the development. Kinda like me by the end of making my Doom 3 video. But generally, the game isn't bad. And, I mean, like, The Shores of Hell is not that bad, actually. It's pretty fun. It's just, it doesn't have anything on the other two episodes. All in all, the game is great, and if you haven't played it yet, then, play it. What are you doing with your life? We're in quarantine anyway, just play it. Yeah, the later parts are not as good as the early game, but that's just my opinion, you can have your own. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it, and if you did enjoy, then please give it a like. It really helps me out with the algorithm. And if you really liked the video, then please consider subscribing. I've been loving making content lately, and it would really mean a lot if you would subscribe. And I'm almost to 100 subs. That's something that I've wanted for a while, so if you guys can help me there, then I'd really appreciate it. But anyway, thanks for watching, and have a nice day.